Alabaster. Welcome to our council comments. This is where we speak with our wonderful councilwoman, Stacey Rakeshaw. She's from Ward 3, and she's going to give us some insight on what happened in the June city council meetings, right?
Right.
So we are really excited. If you have never seen our council comments before, make sure that you scroll back through and look at the previous months. It'll give you some really good information on what's going on within the city. But we're so happy to have you with us today. I'm very excited to talk about the month of June. I know a lot of fun stuff happened.
Oh.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your background?
Well, we've lived here for my husband and my 3 children. We've lived here since 1997, so this is home for us. And I have a son at Troy. He's a senior.
Okay.
Jake. I have Faith. She's in nursing school at Shelton, and then I have a daughter who's going to be a junior at Thompson High School, and that's Savannah. And then my husband Kyle.
You guys are busy, I'm sure.
We are busy.
Probably on the move quite a bit.
We are.
Now, how long have you served on our city council?
I was first elected in 2012. When the city school system started, Adam Mosley moved to the school board.
Yes.
And so I applied to be on the school board to take his position. And I was on the school board, or I was on the council for 2 months, and then I got opposed and ran for election. And so I won that election, and then my next election, which was in 2016, I ran unopposed, and so I'm in my second term. This is my second year.
Well, I'm so excited to have you, and I'm so excited that I got to meet you. So let's talk about our June meeting. We had lots of stuff going on. I think one of the things I was really interested in was I think our law enforcement officers wanted to purchase some body cameras.
They do, and we always are trying to update them and all of their equipment. Whether it's their Tahoes and replacing the fleet of cars that they drive,
right.
The computers that are in those, the radios, and currently the most recent thing that we're buying them that they've requested are body cameras. And that's just something that helps with having more accurate evidence,
Yes.
during certain cases if they need it. It's real time, and it's just a new tool that's come out that police departments across the United States are using.
Awesome.
In the last 3 or 4 years.
When we had talked with Rick Ellis, he had talked about they had some vests that they were purchasing, and we talked about how we always want to make sure they're most efficient at their jobs that they could possibly be. So I know that was a wonderful purchase.
And their jobs are hard, so we try to make it as easy and safe as possible.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what else went on?
Well, in the month of June, we set 2 public hearings for recommendations that we got from the Housing and Abatement Board, where they want us to demolish certain unsafe structures. And we've been doing this for several years. There's probably been 10 to 12 either homes or businesses that get demolished by the city, and then either the property owners pay for those, or if they don't, the city pays for it and puts a lien on the property, and once that property sells, we get reimbursed.
So how does this board that determines the demolition of the structures, how does it get formed?
Well, there's a member on the board from each ward, so each council member appoints or recommends for appointment a person from each ward to represent the city.
Which
in
is
that
good,
area.
I'm sure, because then you've got somebody from each part of the city. It's not just one little entity determining. Awesome. Okay. That's very interesting to know. I know we like to know the ins and the outs of everything that goes on at the council, so I appreciate that. Okay, so I know that there were some things concerning Uber and Lyft and maybe the rules and regulations concerning those in the city. What went on with that?
The transportation network companies, we had certain regulations they had to abide by to come into our city. But recently, the state legislature in the spring passed a statewide law that regulates those. So we repealed ours and replaced it with the new state law.
Very interesting. Thank you very much for that. So what about the annexation request? I saw something about a property that wanted to be annexed into the city.
Yes, it's always exciting when a family wants to come into the city, and you always want to know why. Oftentimes they either want to just take advantage of our public services and public safety, but often, and in this situation, I think their biggest concern was, or request, was to be able to get into the city so they can utilize our city school system.
Yes, absolutely. Who wouldn't want to be in the Alabaster City Schools?
That's right.
Awesome. So how do they go about requesting to be annexed in?
Well, if someone wants to annex their property, they'll go to the city clerk up at City Hall and fill out an application. And then once they meet all the requirements, they'll bring it to us and we'll just, vote on it whether or not they get annexed in.
So this is what happened at the June meeting.
That's right.
Awesome. Wonderful. So that was pretty much the gist of the big things that went on at the meeting. And I think it's also worth mentioning to everyone that you have 2 work sessions a month as well.
Right.
Talk about these work sessions. What happens in the work sessions with the City Council?
That's where we get the meat of all of the ordinances or resolutions or items that people want to bring to us.
Yes.
And they give us the details. There's been a lot of research done either by our building department, police, fire, any department in the city that wants to bring something to us. They've done some research and they bring it to us, and then we look at it, look at the cost, see if it's in the budget or where we would get the money from. And then we go from there. So we spend several hours, 3 to 4 hours, depending on what the topics are,
Right.
Hashing out the good, the bad, and everything,
Right.
just to get it all, just to make sure we understand it all and if it's a good benefit for the city.
And that is how these city council meetings are able to be an hour or so, because you guys are really working hard in these work sessions.
That's
every
right.
month.
And
Awesome.
one thing I do want to mention, I think people don't know that all of those are open to the public. So if you want, and they're all posted, so if you want to come to a work session, those are usually on Thursday or Tuesday nights. But they can come and sit in the meetings. And then also our pre-meetings before our regular Monday night meetings, those are all open to the public, as well as the meetings where we vote on
Very good
different
to know.
items.
Very good to know. So what else is going on in the city this summer?
Well, the farmers market has been going on for several years, and it's been growing. Lynn Coleman, she runs the farmers market, and there are farmers that bring all types of fresh produce and goods, and then we also have artisans who bring in, whether it's fresh bread or homemade candles, and they sell items. And each week they have different activities, like on July 7th they'll have Down on the Farm and even have free mater sandwiches one week. So it's an exciting event, and it's something you need to get there early for, probably. They also have musicians and also have some artists there.
It's so much fun. Our family loves going every week, so it's definitely a good thing to check out. Get some great produce. Somebody was selling some really good candles a few weeks ago, so definitely need to get out to the farmers market. So it's right behind City Hall.
It is on the municipal green, and Lynn does a great job. Any of the profits from the farmers market goes to the Sowers of Seed, and that's a program she runs out of the Buck Creek concession stand, and she feeds anybody who's in need.
Awesome. Wonderful. And you said she delivers those
She does.
to Millstone? That's wonderful.
She does.
That's
She
a great,
does a great job.
Definitely need to check the farmers market out. And so let's talk about the health fair coming up. We mentioned it a little bit in our last council comments.
Yes.
But I think this is going to be a really cool resource for our city. Talk a little bit about it.
I think it is too. The health, we're getting to partner with Shelby Baptist Medical Center and the Angel Warriors Foundation, and it's just going to be an exciting event. It'll be held at City Hall and on the municipal greens, and the doctors and medical professionals will be coming from the hospital and in the medical mile area to do the free health screenings. And you don't have to be just from Alabaster. You can come from any of surrounding cities in this area, just so we can highlight the great medical professionals we have here and all the different varieties of medical professionals.
And you spoke a little bit about it and said it was a great thing for people to come and get to know these doctors on not so much of a formal basis, right?
That's right. It's more of a casual basis, and they can come in and get to know some of the medical professionals and the doctors and the nurses that work for them, and then even people who may not ever make doctor's appointments, they may possibly come and actually get checked out for something, and it may alert them to a health issue they need to address.
Absolutely. I think this is going to be a really, really great resource.
And also the Angel Warriors Foundation, they've set up several vendors that'll be coming to help families with special needs children.
Yes.
They'll have a vocational rehab, Down syndrome of the state of Alabama will be there. the Autism Society, and several other
wow.
ones. They'll also have all of the paperwork needed for families to fill out, so they'll have a head start on being able to get help where maybe they didn't know where to get help before.
That is wonderful. I had no idea about that part of it, so I think that is
Exactly.
great. So guys, definitely come and check out this health fair. This is on August 11th?
From 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And another exciting thing, we've invited the students from our health academy at the high school. They're going to come and be like ambassadors, and they'll be there all matching t-shirts. They'll be welcoming people in, handing out maps of where people need to go and what they need to do to just make it easy as possible to get around. So we're excited.
This sounds really, really cool. So I can't wait to check this out and hear even more about it. Well, thank you so much for being here, for shedding some light on what happened at our June meeting. Guys, make sure you check out our council comments next month, brought to you by the City of Alabaster.